He is David Quinn. David, thanks for the time.
No problem, Boomer. How you doing?
Doing well. How do you like the West Coast as a sports fan? I've always asked people this. I've never lived out west. I mean, turning sporting events on at 4 o'clock. Is this going to work for you?
It will work. I mean, it means I get to bed a little sooner. Obviously, I was greeted by the hottest weather in the history of San Jose in September, 104 degrees yesterday, but there was no humidity. So that was a big change from what's been going on back east the last month.
Okay, well, let's talk about the club. Coming in under Mike Greer, there's a lot of turnover with this team. You haven't coached anyone except maybe a couple guys that I don't know about. Camp's going to be real important this year.
It sure is. Obviously you try to brush up on the team and the players, and you're watching video from last year, but a lot of things are going to be determined in training camp from our end of it, and obviously the last 3 years haven't been what people have been accustomed to seeing here in San Jose, but I really believe that's been a little bit of a byproduct, a lot of a byproduct of the success they've had over the last 20 years. I mean, when you're constantly making Stanley Cup runs and adding people to the trade deadline, you're trading away young assets, and sometimes that can catch up to you. But I think Mike's done a really good job this summer of kind of rounding out our roster a little bit, creating a little bit more NHL depth. We've got some high-end players for sure. And we look at it as an opportunity for us to kind of reset here and get back to the winning ways here in San Jose.
Well, we're going to get into the numbers after you depart, David. And the one number that stands out on the negative side is that the Sharks did not score enough goals last year. Are the answers to this in-house? I know you said they got some top-end guys, and they really do. They have for a long time. But we need to find more ways to generate offense in a league where some of the top-scoring teams dominated last year.
Yeah, I think without question, the way the game has gone, and this is becoming more and more of an offensive-driven league, and you see the power plays percentages skyrocketing, the games, goals per games are getting higher, and we really believe that there are a lot of answers are within the locker room where we can be more productive offensively. And we're not going to ask a guy who's only scored 5 goals in his career to score 40, but if he can go from 5 to 10 or 12, and everybody improve incrementally here across the board, we're going to have a much better chance to be productive offensively.
Coach, I was a huge fan of the 2003 draft, and for a while there it seemed like everyone from that draft was heading to California, and then this summer they left. I mean, Ryan Getzlaf retired from the Ducks, and Dustin Brown retired from the Kings, and Brent Burns left the Sharks in a trade to head to Carolina. More than just a great hockey player who's been a great Shark for a long, long time. I mean, he's a larger-than-life personality. How do you move on from a player like that?
Well, it's life in the National Hockey League, and, our guys have been, we've got a lot of seasoned veterans here, guys that have been through change. And, losing a player of that stature is never easy, but it's an opportunity for other players to step up. And obviously, I've never met him. I certainly have had a ton of respect for him from afar, coaching against him. He's an elite player. Obviously, I've heard an awful lot about him from a personality standpoint, but, this is pro sports in the National Hockey League, and there are changes. And, I think we've got an old enough team here where we can adapt to change and embrace the new players that are here, and it's a brand new season. And like you've alluded to, there's a lot of change throughout this organization, and I think our guys are excited.
I wanted to ask you this one. This is kind of a hockey philosophy question. I'm going to get into it later in the numbers. The Sharks, David, led the NHL in blocked shots last year, over 1,300 of them. I think if you were an old school guy, you think that's great. Guys selling out, doing whatever it takes to win hockey games. New age people, analytics folks, think if you're blocking a lot of shots, it means you never have the puck and you're defending too long. What is your thought on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I actually had that conversation with one of our players over the summer, and listen, it's admirable, and it speaks to maybe some of the DNA and the makeup of our players, but I'm certainly of the latter mindset. I'd rather have the puck than block it, and that's certainly something that we've talked about internally here as an organization, as a coaching staff, something we've touched on with some of the players that I've had a chance to sit down with. And, if you have to block a shot, great, but I'd rather have it. I'd rather be in good defensive positioning where you can close on someone quickly and have a good stick. Obviously, from a penalty kill standpoint, it's probably a little bit more important because you are down a man, but that's the number that we hope to be not leading the league in this year.
What are your thoughts on the goaltending? It used to be a three-headed monster. Aiden Hill moves out. Kakkonen is in. Where do we go on that front?
Well, Reimer and Kakkonen are two guys that have proven they can be really good goalies in this league. Reimer had a really good year last year. Kakkonen's got a good track record of being a good NHL goalie, and we feel we're very confident in both our guys. And if you're going to have a chance to win, you better have good goaltending. We certainly feel confident in both the guys we have.
Okay. And before I let you go, I did want to ask you about Timo Meier. I mean, he was very much the Sharks' offense last season, not just in points, but my goodness, did he generate a lot of scoring chances. It's going to be an interesting year. It is going to be a contract year for him. You haven't had a chance to coach him, but I'm sure you've looked at a lot of tape. He was coming off a year where he didn't play up to his standards, and then he reversed it in the biggest of ways. What stands out when you watch this guy play?
Well, you just look at a guy who's got an awful lot to his game. He's got size, he can shoot it, he's competitive, he can skate. I mean, there's no mystery why he's been a productive player in this league since he's really been in the league. And, you know, obviously he had a monster year last year statistically. We certainly want to build on that, but we also want to get him some help. And that's our goal as an organization, as a coaching staff. We want to continue to put him in a position where he can be as productive as he possibly can be offensively, but with a lot more winning to it.
And one more, the kids coming to camp. I'm sure you'd like to see kids come up and take spots, although you've made a lot of additions over the summer. William Eklund had a look at it for a little bit. I don't know what your plans are for him, but who are the Sharks excited about seeing this fall?
Well, obviously with the new staff, I'm excited to see everybody on the ice. Obviously, everyone's talking about Eklund and Bordelot, and I had a chance to coach Bordy at the World Championship. He's an elite player, boy. He's going to be a good NHL player. And obviously Eklund had some time with us last year, so I'm excited to see everybody. But those certainly are two names that everybody talks about, and I know will have a great future in this organization.
All right, we'll look forward to it. David, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Good luck with the new season.